I would like to introduce the next speaker, who is also the last speaker for the conference. And we heard her yesterday at the keynote panel, and she did present some very emotional pictures that it actually literally touched us. And I'm glad to call back Miss Margaret Allen, the curriculum and education specialist with Renaissance Learning, the gold sponsor. Renaissance Learning, they are available at the conference exhibition booth. You may interact with their representatives there as well, and the platform will remain live until the 16th of November. So you have time to interact with them across the networking lounge, and do stay in touch with Margaret Allen. Margaret will talk about Renaissance everywhere, how we support learning everywhere it happens. The next 20 minutes belongs to Margaret. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. Margaret. You can share your screen, and I would request the panel members from the last session to turn off their cameras and unmute themselves.
So good morning, everybody, from a very dull and dreary UK. So if you've got the sun where you are, if you're in Saudi, you obviously have, smile at it and think of us, because we probably won't get sun for a long time. I want to
Margaret,
talk
I'm sorry for interruption. If you could be a little louder.
a little louder.
Yeah, crack up the
Okay.
volume.
Let me just have a look. I might need to stop share for a second. Is that better? Is that better?
Perfect. Proceed.
Okay, thank you. So, where was I? Oh, yes. So, some of you might be customers. Some of you may know something about Renaissance, and some of you may not. I hope I've got something for everybody here. I've definitely got a lovely resource for you all to use to sanity check your children's development and attainment at the end, which I hope you'll find helpful. So I'm a primary school teacher, and the first thing I want to share with you is this website. We have a UK version and a US version. So if you'd like to go to those websites, you'll find a host of information about how schools are coping during this challenging time. We have resources there, we have ideas, and we have suggestions. We are very proud of the fact that there are millions of children across the world who are sitting assessment tests and actually enjoying it. And that's not normally the case when you think about testing. They enjoy the opportunity. We even have a test for children who are still decoding. They can't yet read, but they need some help to move on. So we have a test which allows children to sit a very simple oral and visual test. And this information is then gathered together and gives teachers an opportunity to think about how they can support their children on their learning journey. We all know that reading is core to everything that children do. And if children can't read and aren't able to pick up on the nuance and inference that reading dictates, they are going to be challenged throughout their lives. These are some of the things that the STAR Early Literacy Test will actually identify. Do children understand about phonemic awareness? Phonemes are the sound that a letter makes. Grapheme is the way it is written. So the letter A or A is a grapheme, and its sound is A or R. Just for those of you that don't understand that background, don't have that early years intuition. It will be a similar scenario across the world, but to have a test which can identify that. We use computer adaptive testing, and I wanted to just share with you how that works. So initially, the children sit a STAR test, and the test will offer children a question at their level to ensure that they have a good start. And you can see that over the 34 questions that the children get asked, if they get it right, it carries on getting harder. If they get it incorrect, it will go back down a level. And over the 34 questions, you can see that standard error of measurement decreases. So that at the end of that session, we're pretty certain we can say these children can, these children can't, and these children need some help in the middle. Having that reliability, having that score helps us to identify how children are being assessed. How are they progressing? What is their attainment level? I thought I'd give you an example of how the STAR test works. So this is a STAR maths test for a year 6 child. So this child will be 10 or 11. And it's made some assumptions from a previous test. So this child obviously understands the power of a number, but he gets it wrong. And so actually the test drops down a level. And he gets it wrong again. So it's dropping down a level. This is an actual STAR test. So it shows how acutely accurate the STAR test is in identifying the child's level. And you can see deliberately, I have got these questions wrong to show how quickly the test can identify where that child is actually operating. And this is the report that the teacher or the senior leadership or the assessment coordinator gets. All of those bars are a child. And we can see that we've got some green children, some blue children, and some yellow children. I probably know most of the green children, and I probably know those yellow children as well, because they came with some issues in the form of a folder under their arm. Those blue children are the ones I'm interested in. They're the ones I want to move into the green space, because they've got a fighting chance, particularly these children here at the top who are almost there, but just need a little bit of intervention to move them on. And here's the detail I get around those children. So I get that these children are above benchmark and these children are working at benchmark, but they're just below where I want them to be. How can I move them on? Sorry, I've just gone the wrong way. Having got that level, I'm now looking at a reading range. So the children have sat a STAR reading test, and this child has been identified as having a range of 3.2 to 5.4. That is the optimum level at which that child will gain most benefit in their reading journey. We use ZPD, which most of you will, I'm sure, know, was Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. And he said that children should be operating in a space which is not too difficult that they become frustrated and not too easy that they become bored. And you can see there, it's quite a wide range because we want children to be enjoying reading. We shouldn't be confining them to a level. We should be encouraging them to explore a level to get the maximum benefit and enjoyment. And in fact, we've done quite a bit of research on this. And you can see that in 2011, we looked at over 2 million children who'd sat the STAR test. And we could see that those that had made the most improvement were reading between 15 and 44 minutes a day. I find it fascinating with research that it's 44 minutes, not 45 minutes. But obviously in a school day, 44 minutes is probably quite a lot. So you need to be thinking of at least 15 minutes to ensure that those children are hopefully going to be gaining and benefiting from their reading experience. They then are able, if they are using an accelerated reader program, to take a quiz based on the book they've just read. And if they get between 85 and 95% correct in their quizzing, they will also make the optimum progress that we would be looking for. We have a website, which I'm hoping I can actually take you to now. So I'm going to have a go. I'm going to be bold here and be brave. And I'm going to go to this website, which allows you to look for books. So you don't need to be a customer of Renaissance for this. You can see I'm in Renaissance AR Book Find. Sorry, let me just change that again. Seems to have closed down. Technology is so supportive, isn't it? So let me just put that in there. So arbookfind.com. And this is a website. This is the American version. We have a UK version as well. And if I was to put into here, anybody can do this. So I want to look at some books for animals, and I want the children to be in a sort of middle grade. So let me just see what I get as a result of putting that in there. There's over 10,000 books identified. Now, these are books that have been quizzed, but actually you can see they're everyday books. You don't need to have any sort of scheme in order for this to operate. But just to have this as a search engine for you to be identifying books that meet the needs of your children, I can then filter the search even further. So I'm going to go to English, and I'm going to go to animals again, but this time I'm going to have a look at dogs. No, let's go for horses. So I'm right down to horses. So I'm now down to 1,000 books in just 3 clicks. So here are a whole range of books. So do use this website, because it is, as I say, available to anybody that would like to use it. So just to go back to my, my PowerPoint, we also have MyOn, which is a digital library, and it has 7,000 books available, all narrated and actually linked to Accelerated and STAR if you want it to be. You can buy it as a standalone product. And it allows children to have their own individual login and to read books at their level. The books are narrated either by US or UK voices, so the children will be hearing English spoken, and it's 24/7 availability. So for those moments, like at the moment where libraries perhaps aren't so efficient and effective and aren't able to offer books because of this dreadful disease, this is an amazing adjunct to that. Very well worth having a look at, especially when you think about the way in which books get used and maybe abused a little bit and lost. To have these books online and available in a whole range of different topics and genres and levels. And teachers also get the opportunity to have a look at reports that are produced. So here is how MyOn operates. It operates on mobile devices as well. And the children then get the opportunity to choose books and read them. And they can actually download them and read them offline as well. And here's an example of a book that's been searched here for Dracula. Everybody likes a Draculian book, don't they? And you can see the sort of information as children are searching, so they get an indication as to whether or not it's at their level or of their interest. And here are the reports that the teacher gets. How many books have the children completed? How many pages? How much time have they spent reading out of school as well as in school? And you can actually drill down and have a look and see what those children are doing and when they're doing it. So that's the integrated solution that Renaissance can offer. What I'd like to now do is talk about assessment a little bit. And this is the resource that I talked about at the beginning. I want you to think about learning objectives. And we all have those that we address in order to ensure that children are learning at the optimum level. And if you imagine all of these are learning objectives, all of these circles are learning objectives. As we know, some learning objectives have much more impact and have much more relevance to children and to teaching and learning than others. If we were to look at A, for example, we would see that C, H, D, E, and B are dependent on A. So that's absolutely a crucial learning objective. H, similarly, has a lot of impact in the way that children are developing their learning. Whereas C, and if we look over here, N, they're there, but they're not critical. And the best example I can give you of critical, I suppose, is if we're teaching maths, children absolutely need to know about place value. They need to know about thousands, hundreds, tens, and units. They need to know about decimals. But maybe they don't need to know about Roman numerals. Maybe N is a Roman numeral type skill, whereas A is a place value type skill. And so what we have done is we've put together a whole booklet around learning progressions and focus skills. And these are free downloadable booklets. They're mapped to the national curriculum. So if you're following the national curriculum, you may find this of interest and of value. So here are the learning progressions for maths. You can see we've got statistics, geometry, number, fractions, decimals, and place value. And along the bottom, you can see these are mapped against reception all the way up to year 11. And along the line, you can see these focus skills, these critical skills, the ones that make the difference. What the NFER, which is the National Foundation for Education and Research in the UK, who spent 9 months making sure that all of our learning progressions map to the national curriculum. They call them building blocks. And we have one for maths and we have one for reading. So you can see the concepts on the left-hand side, and again, from reception through to year 11. Now, these booklets will go into detail around all of those focus skills. It will map out those focus skills for you, and you can have a look and see where your children, where your curriculum maps maybe to the national curriculum if you're not using the national curriculum. In the end, there are fundamental skills across every country in the world, national curriculum or not. Children need to be able to read. They need to be able to decipher. They need to be able to pick up on nuance and inference. And similarly in maths, they need to be able to add up. They need to be able to measure things. So I think you'll find these documents very helpful. And so what I'm going to do, I hope, is take you to the website and show you where you can download these documents. So I'm going to go back to my browser and share that with you, and go to the focus skills area, which I thought I had prepared. But nevertheless, here we are. So here is this URL. There is also a US version, but if you want to just download this one, you will see what I've just talked about. And if you need the US version, then that's fine too. That's where you download the teacher workbooks. And you'll see that you will get a maths version and a reading version. And there's even a video here, which was capturing our Chief Education Officer, who talked through what focus skills are and how they operate. And I think you will find that really very helpful. And nearly coming to the end of my presentation, but just to say that I'm going fast because I've only got 20 minutes and I want to make sure I say everything I want to say. If you are a customer of ours and you would like to join our partner school network, please do get in touch with us. The URL is at the top there. We're trying to build a community, and we have got a significant number, but we would like to make it bigger. A community of schools across the world that can support each other and have access to each other and talk to each other about their experiences. And that's needed no more so than it is needed at the moment. This is the sort of, you'll get a certificate, you'll get a plaque, and you'll be able to join this network, which I hope you'll do. If you are on social media and you're not following us, please do. I give you permission to lurk. It's the only time you're allowed to lurk. You just need a handle. You just need to put your name in, follow us, and you will get all of the relevant information. You'll get ideas from other schools. So please do that. So I think I'm out of time. I hope that's been helpful. I feel as though I've gabbled through that very quickly, but I hope you've got what you needed from it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Margaret. It was indeed interesting. And let me just check if we have a question from the floor. I have one question. In the middle, do you have any current schools and universities that are from the Middle East that are already engaged with Renaissance?
We do. We have a number of schools across the UAE who are using Renaissance products.
Okay.
If there are people who would like more information on that, they can contact us. They can contact me, which is margaret.allen@renaissance.com. But if they would like to get in touch with us, I'm sure there are details somewhere within your website that people can contact.
Exactly. There's a virtual booth over there. So I would request all the attendees, especially from Saudi, who are part of this conference, to interact with you and with your team through the virtual booth. The networking lounge, it is also active until the 16th of November. And ladies and gentlemen, please do interact with Margaret. It was pretty much a very interesting presentation from you. Thank you very much, Margaret.